Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is currently May 20th, 2010, and this is Day 9 Daily number 121, and I'm not going to lie, I'm feeling fantastic. Any of you who saw me yesterday, I was on a good old all-nighter again, because, I like to get stuff done, and sometimes sleeping just gets in the way, so I sort of took a hit there. But I am rested. I woke up after 14 hours of sleep, and then mauled my face again with a razor. Like, I don't know what's changed about my form, but, like, I seriously, like, look at this. Like, I don't know if you can see this that well, but it looks like I got a hickey from a vampire. Like, I just am in some serious pain. A friend of you asking about the frizziness of my hair. That's apparently I just don't use enough conditioner. I just need to get more beauty products. That's clearly the issue there. In other exciting news, I apparently am not getting paid right now for my internship because something went weird in the system. So now I have to contact, like, the business management woman. And her name's, like, Geraldine Crawford, but she goes by Cookie. And I just can't handle calling her Cookie. I just, like, she's like, oh, hello. I'm like, oh, hello, Miss Crawford. And she's like, oh, no, call me Cookie. I don't want to call you Cookie. I want to call you Miss Crawford. I'm not comfortable with that. You know, it's like going up to someone and be like, yes, hello, I'm Miss Jones. It's like, no, please call me by my first name. What's that? Footsie. Just call me Footsie. Like, I'm not doing that. Just pick a name that's like a name and not, something that has those connotations. But anyways, today we're doing something a little bit special. We're going to take a break from watching all these people who are all fancy. We're going to take a break from watching any of these top Euros or Americans or Asians and take a look at some lower level replays. We're checking out a silver level player today, as well as a gold level player if we have time, because so often it's fun to watch out for all the fancy little strategies that people are doing. Oh my god, isn't the little ones play great? But there comes a point where unless you can click the buttons fast enough and have everything link up smoothly enough, the strategy you're doing really doesn't matter. And a lot of you heard me say that something I wanted to do was to play on the ladder with only stalkers. Like, literally go Protoss and only make stalkers in all the matchups and see how well I could do. And I think that whenever I have time to do that, that's going to be a great example of just a lot of the fundamentals. I mean, I guess, there's going to be some focus on, like, learning and how I plan the strategies, but, I mean, so much of that is just, like, an example of, okay, any of you people who are freaking out about imbalance in strategies, note that I only made stalkers, and I snapped plenty of necks along the way. So we're going to go ahead and bounce right into the game here. We have our gold superhero of the day. We're actually going to be focusing largely on the Protoss' point of view, just because I wanted to just pick someone. This is a random replay I downloaded from sc2rc.com. And over here is his opponent, Trios. I have no idea who wins or loses this game. I just opened it up and said, let's just focus on the Protoss player. So I'm not going to go specifically into his camera for much of the game, but I do want to just watch what he's doing quite a bit. So his split is fine enough. If this were Starcraft I, having all your guys bunch up at the start is a huge deal and is very scary and very bad. But, in this game, it's not a big deal at all if it's a little off, because that auto split thing is really good. We're going to be focusing on a lot on the basic mechanics. So this is one thing I'm seeing that I already love. Notice how he changed the rally point on that Nexus. First he rallied to this blank patch, and now he's rallying to this second blank patch. And honestly, that is one of those little subtle touches that is super, super essential, right? So important that you do that. He's sending out his guy to build, and there is something that I want to point out that was really good about that. You'll hear me say this a lot, that whenever you make a building, you want to send the guy early. So notice he's at 70 minerals, and it looks like he's going to be grabbing this guy. And which one does he end up grabbing? Oh, it doesn't look like it was that one. See, this is a little bit of an issue. See, he hit 100, and then he sent the guy. Now, this doesn't seem like a big deal. The fact that he waited until he was at, 15 minerals? He was at 115 when he started to build it. But that's one of those things that really, if you can shave that off, you actually end up losing to a lot fewer rushes over time. Just because everything is so tightly packed together. Now, this is one thing I do want to say, that with this rally point, a lot of people, after they have 8 guys mining, they just sort of keep the rally point at one place. But try to send, I'll actually back up again for that. This is perhaps something that I would be comfortable with a player not doing, who I was watching. But for instance, what I want to look for is, where's a mineral patch where a guy's about to be done mining? You should rally here to this mineral patch. See, look at this guy. See, look, he's about to finish, and now he's moving back. If that probe had been rallied there, he would have been starting to mine right on time, and instead he's trying to find a home. He's trying to find some place he can begin mining. Other than that, pylon just finished. He's happily building stuff away. Queuing some guys up, that's especially fine, because we're going to not really be doing much until we're at around 13 food. And look at this, he sends early. Beautiful. And he built a gateway. I'm not wild about this building placement. A lot of times, if you have too many one spaces between buildings, especially as Protoss, you end up with a lot of clutter later on. If you have it as 0 spaces or at 2 spaces in between each building, you have a lot more room and freedom to do stuff. So he is, in fact, sending a guy out to scout. He has that hotkey. He's building his assimilator on time. Everything looks great. I haven't talked anything about the matchup, just about some fundamental mechanical stuff. I mean, notice how this rally point is still up here. Obviously, once you get later into the game and you can't micro each individual worker, you want that center patch as your rally point. But, this is probably the last time I'm going to rewind and slow down a ton. But notice here how... notice that? Do you see how he's telling the pylon to build really far away? That's pretty important not to do. Whoa. Accidentally hit B on the wrong program. I hit B on my picture viewer, so it popped up a big list of menus, but no. So notice here, he's at 100. He wants to build a pylon. Now, what he should do is he should build the pylon directly underneath the probe. So, like, 100% of the time, you want to be constructing the building underneath the probe. This amount of time, look, he already had all that money built up. And, oh, whoops, now I got to make a probe. Again, I'm going to go through that a few times. See, notice here, he's at 100, so he's at 100, so he wants to build this probe, and he wants to make this pylon, so he makes the pylon. There's wait time, and then he makes a probe. That's just a little bit not as tight as it should be. Once again, these are 2 Silver League players that we're examining. The players who might not have focused extensively on just having the smoothness of everything lined up. Now, I know that the Protoss is trying to do a little bit of micro here, but it's pretty important to have your sounds up really high, so that way you can hear when buildings finish, because you want to pop back there and throw guys in the gas right away. That's very, very, very important. And as we see, he's building some more probes, and now he's probably going to go, oh crap, and put guys back in gas. And I mean, even if we look at the APM, Blue's playing, around 73 actions per minute, which is pretty decent, but there can obviously be some little screw-ups. Now, for instance, notice this. This is pretty typical to happen, especially if you have a lack of comfort with just all your mouse control and stuff like that. For any of you who missed it, I mean, there's just a bunch of disorganization. See, like, sent some guys into the gas, but sent 4. Oh, no, and then sort of, oh, there's 5. Okay, send them back. Oh, gosh. There's nothing wrong with just slowing down and doing everything cleanly. Obviously, you're going to need high APM to do a lot of stuff, but I mean, notice that this cybernetics core is late. We had 300 minerals right when we started the cybernetics core, which we would like to have that down lower, but this is something that I think is super useful if you're a gold or silver league player. When you're playing, you watch pros play or high-level players play, especially these players who are uploading first-person VODs of themselves, and especially with first-person replays, and you just think, well, faster's better, faster's better. Accurate is better. You'll have to take times, like for some of these games, I just want to work on accuracy. For other of these games, I just want to work on APM. And I just think it's important to note that if you're having trouble, if things are sloppy, a lot of people just go, oh, well, I messed up. I guess I need to be even faster to mix this mess up. You just want to get those to not happen in the first place. For instance, when Starcraft II came out, I had this issue where my mouse just didn't feel good. I actually had to move the slider on the sensitivity in Starcraft II up, and I just couldn't get it right. And I had a problem that once I settled, everything felt good, but I kept overshooting things by just a little bit. So I would overshoot and then just sort of spam and click back, and it didn't feel like that big of a deal at first, but it obviously adds up over time, and I want to not do that. So I just spent a little bit of time boxing and just clicking and just trying to move my hand a little bit slower, because in StarCraft 1 I'm really used to just like whipping directly to the location. But I just did it a little bit slower, a little slower. And in the game, I didn't even care if I won. I think I actually lost the game, but I don't even really remember the result. I just remember in this game, it was a Terran vs. Protoss. All I focused on was making sure that every time I sent a unit to a location, I would think, now, do I want that to be at the top of the ramp? or at the left side of the ramp, or at the bottom right side of the ramp, I would look very specifically and try to click right there with a little bit more control, and that helped quite a bit. And that, I think, is definitely something that could have resolved this. Anytime a mistake happens, just slow down a little bit. So obviously, one might watch this replay and criticize, oh my god, the cybernetics core is late. And I think it's pretty clear that it's a little bit late. The money was at 300 when it began, but nothing wrong with just taking a little bit of extra time to do things smoothly. I've been helping like my housemates play a little bit, and you know, they'll panic, you know, if they don't quite have the APM to do a bunch of stuff. I'm like, yeah, no, don't worry about it. Just, you know, build the core here, and then when it's built, come back here and then build the Nexus. And we can acknowledge that it's a leak, but, you know, take it one at a time. Already a lot of good stuff coming out of center plate. He's building his pylon back here. Very easy to forget that. Notice that this building placement is a little bit, it's a little choppy. We could close this down. What you don't want is tons of little funnels and pathways here, because if for some reason there's a medic marine drop, or excuse me, marine marauder drop, you know, your units will funnel through these little tiny cracks, and marine armies that are here will do damage. So I like putting the cores back here and stuff. And you